Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to bring and introduce to y'all the Golden Boot. Well, welcome to the first time to the Golden Boot, Mr. Allan A.B. Bell, host, producer, Mr. Everything from CBS Sportsline, The Early Edge. Mr. A.B., welcome to the Golden Boot. How are you this evening?
Hey, man, I'm doing fantastic, man. First off, appreciate you guys having me. Second off, Kayshawn will be a first-round pick.
Thank you. Hold on.
We will.
I just had to throw some fire on that, but hey, for real, like, he's
Come
fine,
on, bro. Yeah, like, come on, bro.
What's good, man? I appreciate you guys having me on, man. For real, thank you.
Yes, sir. No.
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. So, AB, I met you or was introduced to you, for your role on CBS Sportsline, The Early Edge. You are a capper, a producer, host, and Jonathan Coachman, the coach, calls you a 5-2 player. You are that. Just tell us about your experience, being with Early Edge and Sportsline.
Yeah, definitely, man. So I've been with CBS Sports now. Well, I'll tell you what, about 9 years, because I was with 24/7 Sports before, but CBS Sports bought that, and then we created like our gambling angle to it. So it's kind of been a lot of brands, but the same family. You know what I mean? I used to work for the Tennessee Titans before I came over to 24/7, and I'll say this. Your boy Zach Mettenberger was here in Nashville.
Yeah.
Dude, the Mess Show is for real, dude. He's cool as hell, man. Big respect to him. I know he's coaching with Wiz and Hunt too. Dude, like Mettenberger for real. Great dude. But yeah, man, just been doing this kind of, did the recruiting thing for a little while, gambling thing, NFL, you name it, man. Anything, man. We just talk football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My first game in Tiger Stadium was Mettenberger's first start.
Was it?
Yeah, Odell Beckham ran a punt back. He ran 2 punts back. They called one back. And Jarvis Landry had a one-hand catch on the sideline.
Yeah.
It was,
but it's crazy. Y'all had both of them at the same time. Yeah, there's so much talent.
Yeah,
and Jeremy Hill in the backfield.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Yep.
AB, so you're based out of Tennessee, Nashville to be exact. Tennessee fan.
Yep.
These last 2 years, Josh Heupel has come in, and Tennessee is at least has some, I guess the best way to put it, some respect, earned some respect. They're competitive.
Finally.
Yeah. No more McDonald bags, although that's legal now. But they are competitive. What has he done to kind of, I guess, revitalize the fan base and that team?
Yeah. So, the thing with Josh Heupel, I mean, obviously offense, right? Like, I mean, that's what everything is based about. The entire team, the entire mantra, everything is based around offense, fast tempo, let's go. But with Heupel, man, like you look at him, like one, he's a super intelligent guy, and he's not high or low emotionally, right? Like it's a lot kind of like Les Miles, to where like it would be the most crucial 4th down. Y'all are playing Florida and Tebow. Like everything's going crazy. You look over Les Miles, he's chilling, right? Like his heart rate does not go up. Heupel's kind of the same way, man, to where like you're not going to fluster him, dude. So that's kind of like been the attitude. Now, I'll say it helps when you've had 20 years of just trash football, when it's just been bad for a long time. When somebody comes in and they win, like you're certainly going to get, a lot of love there. But yeah, man, like he's a good coach, good dude. But it's all around the offense, man. Like that's what it's based on. And I respect it to where like he doesn't fade away from it. He's like, dude, this is what we're here to do. We're gonna give us the best shot to win. And if we win, we win. If we don't, we'll try and get better. So he's a good coach, man. Players all love him for sure.
Right. And look, AB, of course, we know you guys have a big game this weekend, Tennessee.
A little bit.
But not only, right. But not only that, I mean, pretty much after this game, I mean, you guys got a gauntlet. Yeah. I think it's the 3rd hardest schedule in the country or something like that. But I mean, you guys come through. I mean, what are your odds as far as?
Yeah, so I'll say this, man. Like, you're right, and look, you guys know it too. Like, I mean, you guys play a schedule that you put that schedule up against anybody in the country every single year, right? Yeah. Don't matter. So that part like is difficult, but it's always difficult, right? Sure. So it's like you don't even worry about it. But I'll say this, right? Like Tennessee's a pretty good team. Mm-hmm. They're due for a loss. they're due for an offensive step back. I don't know when that happens. Could be Saturday. Could be next. Like, I don't know. But it's going to happen because kind of like if you took a ball, right, and like you bounce it 10 times and it went to you 10 times, like the next 10, there's no way it's even coming close, right? Like Tennessee's kind of been doing that for a minute, right? You look at that Florida game, right? Like all those kind of things, like it just kind of goes your way. So we'll see. Tennessee's a different type of team that you got to deal with, and it's because of the tempo and the speed of the offense. Yeah. Like Hendon Hooker's a great quarterback. Like I give that dude a lot of credit. He's tough as hell. He's gonna keep plays alive. He's gonna keep your team alive, right? But like as fast as Tennessee can score, fast as they go 3 and out. I've seen it. You know? So it's like, dude, they're like there's no middle ground, right? Like, you might get the ball back in 8 seconds for real. Like you'll get up, boom, throw it, incomplete. You catch it a punt. You're like, damn, man, like we didn't even have time to sit down. So like this game is going to be fascinating. Also, I'll say this about it too. If you go back 2 weeks to Tennessee and Florida, I think that is going to look pretty much exactly like what this game's going to look like. You saw Anthony Richardson. Everybody say it coming into it. This dude can't throw. He couldn't throw it in the water off a boat, right? Yeah. What's he do? Comes out and balls. Because what Tennessee's offense does is that it's so different that you, like, midway through the first quarter, you're like, all right, this is just an athlete-on-athlete game. Like, this is backyard. Like, this is what we're doing. And that's why you see teams that are super talented, teams like Florida, right, to where they might not be playing great because they're so, like, overcoached. But when it's just, like, talent saying, man, let's go, they step up because they got more talent than you. LSU's the exact same way. Like, I can't wait to see this game. From a betting perspective, like, the total sits at 65. I'm betting the under. Like, I think it's going to be – like, they'll be scoring on both sides for sure, but you look at LSU's defense, like, you're going to create turnovers, multiple turnovers, right? You're going to hit our receivers and tight ends, pick up fumbles. Like, you'll have that for sure, but it's just going to be a weird game. Like, it's going to kind of have some old school, like, feel because both offenses can kind of get shut down a little bit. But your boy Jaden, the quarterback, like, he's going to run. And, like, it'll reach a point to where the offense will just say, man, just let him go. Just let him play ball. That's the same thing that Napier did with Anthony Richardson 2 weeks ago. And watch him. They quit. They didn't even punt. They said, we're just going to go for it on 4th down. And got like 7 of 8. You know what I mean? It's good. If you like watching athletic dudes play, this is your game. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, so Miss Nikki brings up an interesting point. She says they will also be without a big wide receiver. Going to be a good one. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tennessee's that without two.
Yeah. So the big one, like Cedric Tillman, like that's been the guy, and that's been Hendon Hooker's guy. There's a couple wide receivers, like Brew McCoy. He's a transfer from USC, like 6'3", 220. Like he's still kind of getting into it in terms of like this offense. You know what I'm saying? Like he just got cleared like 2 days before week 1. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the dude you want to like take a look out for. But yeah, like Tennessee's not coming into this like at 100%. Like their playmakers, especially that, and that could be trouble, man. Because like you saw it against Florida. Like you run out of dudes to throw to, Hooker starts running, and he can run. Yeah. He's athletic, but dude, he got popped, and it was like if they lose Hooker,
they're done.
All bets are off. Like you'll win by 30. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because like the team is fueled by Hendon Hooker 1,000%.
Yeah. How important is it? When they've been doing a great job of it, you could talk about how good of a job they've been doing of. But how important is it for y'all to have fast starts because y'all's defense is going to give up so many points?
That's 1,000,000%. Like that's literally like I think that's why Josh Heupel's like, dude, we got to score. And you notice the last 2 years, Tennessee's been the fastest scoring first quarter team in the country because they have to. Like this defense, I'm telling you, man. Like they try and they'll give you everything they got. And you guys were talking about like throwing deep, dude. Throw it deep. Like, you'll see, like, Brian Kelly, I'm sure, has worked in this week. Like, you know how, like, Aaron Rodgers will throw deep just to get a flag? Yeah. You'll do that because you're going to get a flag. Like, because our corners and safeties get burnt, right? And they will hold. Like, they'll just hold the receiver, take the flag, and move on. Like, that aspect will absolutely be a part of it. Like, this defense, again, like, nobody's I don't want to sound disrespectful. Like, nobody's quitting. There's none of that. The team's got a ton of heart. They're just not that good. Like, I mean, they're just going to give up a ton of points. You know what I'm saying? So, like, offensively, like, you'll come out of this guy. I know you guys were talking about, like, playing Nuss and all that. Like, man, don't even worry about it. Like, Jade's going to have a game. Like, because an athlete will take advantage of that defense, and he'll take advantage of that defense.
You know what? I want to say that if you're listening, LSU fans, you heard what AB just said. Jaden is going to have a game, so just be patient. Hopefully he does.
All right, let me say this: he has more rushing yards than any of our running backs do. So there you go. And like our running backs aren't that bad, right?
Yeah. Right.
But I'm like the dude can play. Yeah, he'll have a game. Yeah.
That actually brings up a good point. The run pass balance. Is Tennessee, is it all, hey, we're going to pass and we'll run just to keep you honest? Or is it kind of does Josh Heupel kind of, let's keep them honest a little bit, mix in the run?
He mixes it in, right? Like it's not like 100% pass. But anybody out there, like watch the NFL and understand, I'm not saying that they are them. I'm saying that the way you kind of defensively game plan against it is the same. They're like a bootleg Bills team, right? Where like they're just coming out throwing, and your quarterback is mobile enough to where he can hurt you. Like he's not, super fast, like going to get out and cut you up like multiple times, but he can do it. If you like, if you get, if you play undisciplined football, like securing like the edges of the perimeter, he could cut you up, but he's going to throw. Like balls are just going to throw. They'll run a little bit to keep it honest, but like your secondary linebacker, your linebackers especially, like watch them during the game because they are the ones that kind of get stuck in no man's land because it's like, all right, man, are we dropping back in coverage? Are we rushing? Because the offensive line is not that great either. Like you kind of have to make a decision, but if you make the right one, like you can find success very, very quick.
Man, you're being very humble right now, AB.
Hey, no, but like for real, like I'm honest. I'm telling you, I've seen every Tennessee game for 27 years, right? Like I know this team, I know where they're at. They're a good football team. If they get up on you points wise, right, and you don't bounce back, you get blown out real quick, right? But if you do and you start creating turnovers, which you guys are one of the best teams in the country doing that, like that's where Tennessee gets in trouble because now you start getting short fields and you make Tennessee go 75 yards. They can't always do that either, man. Yeah.
Let me ask you this about Hooker. If it's a close game, does he tend to press a little more and kind of be more prone to turn the ball over, trying to make the plays because he know the defense isn't going to get a stop?
No. Like he's complete opposite. He's like Heupel, dude. Cool, calm, relaxed. Yeah. Okay. Now the problem is this: his dudes will fall apart around him, right? Like I mean, like that's the hard part. Like so, what I'm saying is like if it's tight in the fourth quarter, he will absolutely like him becoming the run game will happen. Watch, like if it's tight, he will run just because of that. Because like you saw, the first opening drive against Florida, dude. Feed this tight end, go all the way down the field, bam, punch it right out, fumble. Like, could have completely changed the game, right? So he'll be cognizant, like he won't be the one turning it over. He'll be the one saying, I got to run. And if you got athletic dudes, which you guys have, like you can stop it. Like he's not super quick. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how you attack it. Yeah.
And honestly, AB, what I would say a little bit afraid about is, of course, watching LSU this season, they've come out pretty slow in the first half. Of course, defense, they kind of bend but not break within that first quarter. But once they make adjustments, they've been really good. But just the offense, as far, it's just been a slow start for us. So, like you were saying, if Tennessee gets up on you, it could be kind of scary. So I'm just hoping we come out firing all cylinders.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like I was talking about exactly that earlier today, and it was like, look, because somebody asked her, like, man, I haven't seen any of these. Is the dude for the West Coast? He's like, I haven't really seen either of these two teams. Like, I've seen them, but I don't really know them. He was like, how would I bet this game? I said, man, if you're going to do anything, I was like, bet Tennessee points in the first quarter, like, or the first half. I was like, other than that, I was like, once it gets to the second half, like, Tennessee doesn't really change their game plan. Like, what you see in the first half, exactly what you're going to see in the second half. Not much going to change. Now, you look at LSU defensively this year, I think second half of games, you guys have only given up like 7 points or something like that. Like, some crazy number. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. I was like, dude, if you're going to bet the whole game, bet the under because the second half could be very tight in terms of points being scored. Yeah. So, yeah, man, like I don't see any scenario to where Tennessee comes out like and completely like shuts down the fans, like, 35 that you're not going to have some of that. But what happens is that even if you don't score, Like if Tennessee goes down, scores a touchdown, you get the ball, you don't necessarily have to score, but you definitely want to eat some clock. And like if you go again, go back to that Florida game, like Billy Napier's plan was, well, we're just gonna keep the ball away from you. And I think your dude Daniel in the chat said that, like you put it up on the screen. That's exactly how you go about playing Tennessee. You just control the clock and say, look, man, you're not gonna get that many opportunities, right? Because the reason Tennessee scores a ton is because they have so many opportunities because they play fast. But if you look at the percentages, it's really the same. You know what I mean? They just have 8 more drives than most other teams do because they play so quickly, right? So if you keep the ball away from them, you're going to make them actually play a normal game, which they are not built to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. AB, does Tennessee kind of play like that old Oregon Ducks?
Yeah. You know what? Like, yeah, that's an excellent comparison, right? Like they play like them to where the quarterback can move, the quarterback can be mobile, the quarterback's smart. Like that's really where it goes down. The quarterback is smart and his heart rate isn't up. Like he's cool and calm. He makes good decisions. He can read, edges, read your ends. He can hit you deep if if you're slacking. He'll find where you're kind of being undisciplined, but he'll hit it once. Like it's not like he's gonna be, Tom Brady and say, all right, I'm just gonna pick on that dude. Like that's not gonna happen, right? But it's that one big play. You're like, damn, like, it was third down. Man, we was getting off the field. How do we give that up, right? That's a great comparison. Absolutely.
Hold on, real quick. AB, your Matt Ryan half an interception just hit.
Bam, there we go. I love it. Making money on the show, dude. That's why y'all the best.
Go ahead, Ian.
Speaking of interceptions, Hendon Hooker hasn't thrown many. And I know you're a betting guy. The odds are he's got to be due for one soon, huh?
Dude, 100%, man. You're right. And like that's what we were talking about. Like, not only that, like Tennessee, like as a whole, is due. Like every single thing is gone correctly. Like not even correctly. I'll give you a perfect example. Tennessee's first play of the game this season was a defensive interception. Their second play of the game this season was like a 40-yard touchdown pass. Like that's I use that as the analogy of that's kind of what their season has been. Like the ball is
can't draw it up better than that.
Yeah, like it just doesn't happen, man. Like it's just too long. Season's too long. Things tend to average out, right? So like that's the scary part is because the key, like the two keys to completely taking Tennessee out of their game is one, keeping the ball away from what we just talked about, and two, creating turnovers. So whether it's interceptions or creating fumbles, which I would put my money on, the turnovers will come from hitting Hooker because the offensive line ain't that great. And like you could get there with 4 dudes. And like we talk about the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, they rush quarterbacks in the NFL at the lowest rate, 32 ranked, because they say we don't have to sorry, blitz, not rush. They say we don't have to blitz. We'll get at you with 4. We could drop, 7. And I think that's a lot of what you guys are doing. And if you're getting there with 4, like that ball will hit the ground. Like Hooker will fumble, like for sure, because he's just getting blasted back there. You know what I mean? So
Henry Hooker, we've talked about him a lot. As he goes, Tennessee goes.
Yep.
His Heisman odds. Does he stand a chance right now, or is it kind of he's just going to be the dark horse until something happens?
What's going to happen is LSU, Georgia, and Alabama, right? That's the hard part. Now, let me say this. I love the kid. Dude, he's a great kid, great dude. Everything you would want out of a quarterback, leader, all of that. And I hope, he gets, finishes strong and everything works out for him. He ain't going to Heisman. Like, you got to be on a good team that's 11-1. You know what I mean? Like a CJ Stroud, at Ohio State, right? Like, you got to have all that. Tennessee's not going to do that. You know what I mean? They'll be a good team, but they're like an 8-win team. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be tough. Yeah. It's going to be tough, man. Like, you're not going to win a Heisman, when your team's 8-4. You know what I'm saying? 7-5. Like, it ain't going to happen. You know what I mean?
I think y'all are closer to 10-2 than y'all are to 7-5, man.
Man, I'll tell you what, I hope so. I've just seen second halves of Tennessee football, things tend to get crazy, but no. I'm with you though. I said coming into the season, the swing games were Pitt, Florida, LSU, and Kentucky. Take Georgia and Alabama out of it, they ain't playing with them dudes, right? Yeah. Well, they've won Florida and Pitt, right? So 2 out of the 4. Now we'll see, about LSU and Kentucky. They could drop both of those two, right? So we'll see. But I'm with you. Like, even at 9 wins, like, you ain't going to Heisman. However, I just like that he's in the conversation because he deserves it. He plays his ass off, man, and he's a good dude. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I hope the Saints draft him, by the way. I mean,
dude, that'd be dope, man.
Future Saints quarterback. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So AB, you always give great like nuggets, little, trivia and stuff, whether they're good for betting or it's just like good knowledge and stuff. Do you have any, stand out? Does anything stand out for this game?
Well, I tell you what, man, you guys took the one that I had earlier. Everybody like here in Tennessee was talking about like, oh man, 11-15 kickoff, like we finna go down there and do something. I was like, historically, no, you know what I mean? Like, oh. And I'll say this, man, like, dude, Death Valley is a place where ranked teams go to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not making any projection on the game other than I think the under 65 is going to hit. But other than that, like, nah, man, like, that place is going to be live. Like, that place will be live at 5 in the morning, right? Like, fans would be out there. Like, it always is. It's a lot like Knoxville. Like, it's just like people ain't afraid to drink at any moment. You know what I mean? Right, at all. So, yeah, like, I was going to say that, like, 11 a.m. kickoffs, like, don't think that that's a good thing. Yeah, it hasn't been.
Yeah, I would love to see the Vol Navy take on the Cajun Navy. That's the only difference is the Vol Navy needs rivers. The Cajun Navy will pull up on the street.
That's the problem, man. When you got all weather tanks coming in, dude, they can survive in anything, man. You don't want to fight with that.
Ask Vandy about that. Drink them boys dry.
Yeah, I was
dude. Hey, y'all did, and let me say this, man. I live here in Nashville. I live 4 minutes away from Vanderbilt, like pretty close downtown. Dog, this whole city is built on tourism. Like, not many people can say you drank the city dry. Like, everything is built off alcohol here. Yeah, y'all did it with ease, dude. It
was like the middle of the third quarter, and they was out.
Oh no, they were out by halftime.
Y'all could have kept going. That's the scary part. Yeah,
I was down there buying water for me and my son, and the
trying to find vodka for it. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, the beer line was literally like outside, going out of the tunnel back, and people were literally watching the game, waiting for beer, because they were so far out the tunnel.
Hey, respect to it. I like it.
Yeah.
I got a little nugget for him, Pooh.
Yeah,
gotcha.
All right, so Tennessee averaged 48 points a game, I believe, somewhere around in there. Yeah. If you take out, and I know everybody said LSU hasn't seen an offense like this and all that, but if you take out the LSU game, Mississippi State is averaging 44 points a game, which is pretty much right on par with what Tennessee's at, and we saw the LSU held them to 16 points. So
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm so glad that you said that, right? Like, a lot of my friends that like don't really watch Tennessee, they'll bring that up because they see like the points and all that, right? And I'm like, look, it's not that the offense is necessarily even that good. It's just that it's so different that like it's like in the middle of the season, if like you're in conference play and then you got to play Air Force, and you're like, damn, we got 4 days to figure out the triple option, right? Like that, it's a gimmick offense, right? To where it's like, dude, we're not used to going, 7-second snaps to where the offensive line is running down the field. Yeah. But once you figure it out, like this team isn't built like with like Keyshawn's like type dudes. Like there's not a lot of first round pick guys around here. It's just that the offense is so different that when you catch it in the middle of the season, you just don't have time to quickly learn it. But once you learn it in game, which everybody will, like I'll talk about Brian Kelly in a second. Like you'll figure it out, and then you're like, oh man, like this offense ain't that great. Like we've seen this, you know what I mean? Like, and I mean it. Like it's just speed. So, and let me say this, Brian Kelly. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Y'all know way more than I do. But what I will say is this, is that Brian Kelly not only has won everywhere he's been, he's the winningest coach everywhere this dude has been. Like, his plan works. It worked at Cincinnati. Think of two different places, of Cincinnati and then Notre Dame, right? Two completely different recruiting, everything. And he's like, nah, I'll become your winningest coach. Like, to me, like, it works now. Become the winningest coach at LSU, it's tough to do. But it's tough to do it at Notre Dame too. Like, so I say all that to say, like, I like Brian Kelly. Like, his stuff has worked everywhere. You know what I mean? So,
And honestly, AB, just being completely honest with you, that's why I'm okay with the offensive woes and the struggles from last week, because everything he's shown us, they've improved. So I'm trusting in him.
Hey, Nick Saban at Alabama, his first year, dude, they got rolled up by UL Monroe. Right,
yes, sir.
Yeah, like I mean, it happens. Like you take over, and you're like, dude, like I've got work to do, and you're stuck on specific timing. Like you can't just come in and fix it. Like it takes recruiting time. It takes all of that. We'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel you on that. Yeah. For sure.
All right. So AB, I'm gonna shift a little bit away from Tennessee and talk about the betting. And it's kind of this guy what he said he's super unbiased. I like that. Cool guy.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man, for sure. Yeah.
When and talking about Tennessee or any team, as a bettor, when you're betting on your favorite team, what are some tips to kind of stay unbiased?
All right. So when betting on your favorite team,
right.
All right. So like historically, forever, like it's always been like don't bet on your team, like don't bet with your heart. Which that part is true. However, if you could check your heart, you know this team better than anybody else.
Right.
Like you know this team better than some dude sitting in a cubicle in Las Vegas for Caesars that's just trying to get a smoke break, right? Like you know LSU way better than they do. You know the games where your offense is going to look better because you got, competitive advantages. You know the games where it's going to be a little more tight, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, like, if you could keep your heart in check, dude, you've got an advantage that nobody else does. Play with it. It takes a little time, but I bet on Tennessee every week because I know, like, I've got a feel on this team, and I'm also not like I'm not betting for what I want to happen. I'm betting on what I think is going to happen. Look, the whole team's built on offense, and I just told you I'm betting the under because I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored, which also tends to be betting the underdog, right? We'll see. If you give me LSU with points at home, it's tough to turn down. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored. So, like, if you can keep your heart in check, like you've got an advantage to work with.
Yeah. Something else, because we've talked about it a lot. For instance, Auburn game. The first thing we said, because before the game came out, what is the spread going to be? And some people were like, "Oh man, Auburn's terrible. It's going to be 10. It's going to be 11." And I think it was one of our other co-hosts who's not with us, and Ant said, 8.5, 9, or something like that. Because historically,
no way it was going to be double digits. No way.
Because historically, LSU and Auburn have been a tight game. As a matter of fact, I pulled one of your numbers. I said, "Hey guys, did you know the last time that LSU scored more than 7 points or won by more than 7 points?" And we went find it was like 1998, and before that it was 1973. So
nice.
Yeah. So how are spreads determined?
Well, all right. So, it's all done by computer algorithms now. All right. And they're essentially databases based on like where the game is played, right? What the average points per drive offensively for both teams and average points per drive given up defensively for both teams. Mix in a little bit of the weather. That's pretty like there's more that goes into it, but like that's kind of the basis of where you're at. All right. So then it just calculates, finds where, if there are any large differences, and then they just put it to where, okay, where's the public going to move this at? All right. So, yeah, like you talked about 8.5, 9 points. They're not going to go double digits because then it's going to create such a where people who know it are like, no, that's too much. It's too much. Right. Yeah. But then they'll also play around. Think about like how football games are scored. All right. 3 points, 7 points. All right. Yeah. So here's a trick for you. When a book doesn't know what to do, like they can roughly get around where they want to be, but they don't know precisely what they want to do. Let's just use this. We'll just use this as an example. Say they didn't know what to do with Tennessee LSU, okay? But they were thinking around a touchdown, which is not. We're just making this up, like right. For the example. But they're saying, okay, we think Tennessee's a touchdown favorite. They'll either put it at 6.5 or 7.5, and then make the decision of where that's going to move.
I hate that, but I hate that hook. Dog. I hate the hook. I've lost more bets because of that hook than anything. It's always one leg and a hook. It's 3.5. Yep. It's 3.5, and they win by 3 or something every time, bro.
Absolutely, man. Because games are scored by 3s and 7s, right? To where they'll say, "All right, man, Like if we were using, they think Tennessee's a touchdown point favorite. They'll say
Tennessee
all right,
minus 6.5.
Yep. And they'll say, all right, who's going to go LSU? Right?
Plus 6.5.
Who's going to go? Yeah, absolutely, man. Like they'll make the decision, and then once the line starts moving with money, like it's out of their hands and whatever, they good. But they'll make you decide it. So watch, whenever these lines come out, pay attention to like 6.5, 7.5, 2.5, 3.5, 9.5, 10.5.
Yeah.
Watch how many times they do that. They do it a ton for sure.
I just started buying points now. I just buy a point and get that other and swing the hook back the other way to make it LSU plus 7.5. You know what I'm saying? That
100%.
Myself.
Dude, it's absolutely worth it. Like, unless they just charge you ridiculous, like 220 juice to do it, it's worth it to do it, man, because you want to build in that insurance for sure. It's a smart play.
All right. Ask this, because a lot of people don't bet, but they may keep up the spreads or whatever. What can the casual fan take from the spread? Because we have a saying, Vegas be knowing.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, they're generally pretty close, right? So, you could get a feel.
Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the perfect example.
I mean, they got all them big buildings out there for a reason.
Exactly, right? Exactly. Like, they're generally pretty close. Now, as you guys know better than anybody, like, anything can happen on a Saturday, on a Sunday, but for the most part, like, they're generally in the area of it. So then you take a look, like, whether you're using it, to bet, or you're just using it as like a fan, saying, all right, this is where they think we're a 5-point favorite or 5-point dog, whichever. It's like, all right, how's that going to affect how we go about it? If we're playing from behind, right, but we've got a great quarterback with an arm, I'm all right playing from behind. But if you're a team that does not, right, like you're built to be ahead because your quarterback really doesn't have a great arm, but you got a pretty good defense, but you fall behind, you're like, oh, like this could get out of hand, man. Like we get down, we can't score. You know what I mean? So yeah, like that's what you use for it.
So when predicting spreads, I know the rule of thumb is that home teams get 3 points. Is that still kind of the same 3 points, or has it changed, shifted either way a little bit?
It's changed. It depends, obviously, like where you play. So I'll give you a perfect example. I heard the dude who used to run Caesars, the entire Caesars sportsbook. He said, look, he goes, if Tennessee was playing LSU at night, that's a 4-point difference. Nowhere else has that. Yeah, for real. And that's the dude who ran Caesars, like all of it, betting, right? He said, like, that's how much Tiger Stadium like has an effect at night. He's like, nobody else has that. But for the most part, playing at home, it used to be 3 points. It's generally about 1.5 to 1.8 now. Because like it's just travel used to be a big thing. Yeah. Now it's easy. Like everybody's got a private plane. Everybody eats. Like it's easier. You stay in nice hotels. It used to be
not as many home field advantages anymore, neither. Like
exactly, right? Like exactly. So it's not as much as it used to be, but some places still are. At Tiger Stadium, Tiger Stadium actually might be like, I think that might be the largest like difference number like in the country for real. Like, yeah,
it's a good nugget right there.
Yep.
So AB, I know you kind of said you didn't have any predictions. I guess the last question is though, I was going to go around score predictions from everybody, kind of what we felt. Do you want to put in one for this game possibly?
Yep, I do, man. I tell you what. It always gets weird, always, when playing in Baton Rouge, always. And I love that aspect of it. And Tennessee's due. 32-30 LSU wins outright, gives us a 62, under 65 hits. That's my prediction. And look, let me say this. And I'm not saying it because I'm on your show. I'm not saying it because you have LSU fans. Like this is going to be a tough game for Tennessee. They'll score points. But this is going to be a tough game for Tennessee.
True, spoken like a true bettor. Because he made sure he hit that under.
He hit that under. Yeah, he hit that under.
All right. Daniel, what you got?
So AB said 32-30?
Yeah. Like, and let me say this before you go. Like, LSU's offense is going to, this is going to be a fun game. For real. Like, it's going to be fun. Yeah, so, go ahead.
Dang it. I'm gonna go. I say 30-27 LSU.
28-23 LSU.
Ooh,
I can see that. Yeah.
God.
Hey, let me ask you before you answer. How's you guys like field goal kicking? I haven't really like looked into it. Like
The kicking isn't bad. We've had questions with protection for the kicking.
First game of the season.
week one,
trauma.
but you know, yeah, but
we ain't blocking nothing, so I wouldn't worry about that. Like
it's been fixed a little bit though.
Yeah.
but you can put them in. Yeah.
Yeah. How's y'all's return game?
Josh Heupel likes to just kneel. Like we might return one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We love that. We love that.
Yeah. I'll say that, like he's big on like let's not take like stupid risks.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's like, dude, just give me the ball at the 30. Like
I'm gonna score either way. Yeah.
I like it.
Give me the ball.
Yeah. I've been saying all season, if we can start 35 points, we can beat anybody.
Yep.
I'm gonna go in with 31-28.
I like it.
I was gonna go with that.
I think the game will be close. I think we win by a field goal, but it's not gonna be like a last minute field goal.
Yeah, like it's gonna be a fun game, man. Like for real, and like, it's gonna be tight. It like the fun thing too is like it could get like. I'll say this: Tennessee games are weird too. Like these are two like the weirdest game, like team playing teams in the SEC. Like everybody's gonna assume Tennessee gets up early. LSU puts a stop to it, makes their score. Watch it be the complete opposite.
Just like Auburn last week when LSU played. Auburn goes up 17-0 and nobody expected it.
Yep. Yeah. Watch it. Like, watch LSU go up like quick to where you're like, what in the hell just happened? You know what I mean? Like, because our defense could do that too. You score fast on Tennessee, like the boys ain't stopping a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like it could get this game could be weird, but it's gonna be fun.
All right, AB. Another one of your bets. It actually hit a little bit earlier. The 2 over 1.5 field goals by Denver.
That's hell yeah! No, we were clocking money on y'all. So I got to go on every week.
But AB, thank you again. It's meant a lot for me. Like I said, you were one of the first guys I watched on the early edge. So I truly do appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. Tell everybody where they can find you. Find you guys. Let me actually. So they can see the name.
For sure, man. And while you're doing that, like, dude, appreciate you for real. I'm telling you, man. Like, from our whole crew, appreciate you, dude, and Danny, dude, y'all too, man. Like, appreciate you guys. Thanks for letting me come on, chop it up on you guys' show. Yeah, you guys can find me at CBS Sportsline, sportsline.com, cbssports.com, youtube.com/sportsline, Twitter at Allan Bell 247. Like, for real, man. Come chop it up, dude. We talk about anybody's teams. You want to talk about this game? You want to talk about looking ahead? LSU after this one, like, chop it up about anything, man. So I appreciate you guys for real having me.
Yeah. I just want to let y'all know, anytime if I've ever had a question about LSU basketball, I've hit up the early edge guys, Jay Smooth, and he'll say, hey, this is what my model sees, but I think this will go this way. Hey, AB, I got a question, and they will answer it. They're not like, because some betting services will. Hey, that's a charge, that's a fee, that's an extra fee. They're actually, saying they treat it like, they treat you like you mean something to them. So
hell yeah, and y'all do. I'm telling you, man, come bring it up. Like we ain't gonna charge nothing. Like in terms of like just talking up ball, talking to any of that, dude. Bring anything, everything, man, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check y'all out, bro.
Yeah, come on, man. Hey, and I tell you what, man, like we, our service, like it is, like a premium like $9.99 per month, but like for you guys, man, like if y'all ever want to come do it, like, dude, I'll hook y'all up for free, man. Don't even worry about that at all. You know what I'm saying? So we just love to see you, man. But I appreciate you guys having me for real. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for joining us, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our man, Mr. Allan Bell of the Early Edge.